It's Huckleberry, Huckleberry, Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry, Huckleberry, Huckleberry Finn. Getting into trouble as if trouble were his friend. It's Huckleberry, Huckleberry, Huckleberry Finn.
We was all aboard the raft again, Jim and me and the King and the Duke, who got away from the crowd somehow. Well, as soon as we got moving good, the King went for me and shook me by the collar.
Just where was you off to when we caught up with you pup? Trying to give us the slip, was you? Tired of our company, eh?
No, Your Majesty. We weren't. Please don't, Your Majesty.
Quick then, tell us, what was your idea lighting out without us?
Honest, I'll tell you everything, just as it happened, Your Majesty. The man that had a hold of me back at the graveyard said he felt sorry for me. And when they were all took by surprise by finding the gold and made a rush for the coffin to see, he lets go of me and whispers, "Heal it now, or they'll hang you short." Yeah, so I lit out. It didn't seem no good for me to stay. I couldn't do nothing.
Oh, yes, that's mighty likely. I ought to shake you good.
Now let go of the boy, you old idiot. Would you have done any different? Did you inquire around for him when you got loose? I don't remember it.
Cuss that town and all them people in it. Dadgummit, all that gold gone? And we reckon the slaves stole it.
Yes, we did. Huh.
Looky here, Bilgewater, what are you getting at?
Oh, let up on this cussed nonsense. You take me for a blame fool. Don't you reckon I know who hid that money in the coffin?
Of course you know, 'cause you done it yourself.
It's a lie, you old snake.
Take your hands off of me, Leo.
You own up first that you did hide that money. There, plotting to go back and dig it up and have it all to yourself.
Wait just a minute, Duke. If you didn't put the money there, say it, and I'll believe you. And I'll take back everything I said.
You old scoundrel, I didn't. And you know I didn't. There now.
Well then, I believe you. Now, don't get mad, but didn't you have it in your mind to hook the money and hide it?
Well, maybe I did, but I didn't do it anyway. You not only had it in mind to do it, but you done it.
But I tell you, I didn't. I won't say I weren't gonna do it, because I was, but somebody got in ahead of me.
It's a lie. You took it. Now you admit it.
Enough. I own up.
I was glad to hear him say that, you bet. Oh, it made me feel much easier than what I was feeling before. I thought sure they was going to start in on me about the money. Well, they moaned and argued about who was to blame for the whole mess. And finally, the King sneaked into the wigwam and took his bottle for comfort. And before long, the Duke tackled his jug. And so, in about half an hour, they was as thick as thieves again. They both got powerful mellow. And when they got to snoring, Jim and me had a long talk. And I told him everything. We dasn't stop again at any town for days and days. But finally, the King and Duke tackled missionarying and doctoring and telling fortunes and a little of everything. But they couldn't seem to have no luck. One day, they got their heads together in the wigwam, talking low and confidential. And Jim and me got uneasy. We decided if we ever got the least chance, we'd give 'em the cold shake and clear out and leave 'em behind, before they got us into more trouble.
This here village is Pikesville, Bilgewater. I'll go nose around town and see if anybody's got wind of the royal nunsuch.
Okay, I'll wait here.
If I ain't back by midday, you bring the boy and you come along.
Well, the Duke was surly and ornery, and I knew something was a-brewing sure. When noon came, me and the Duke went up to the village. I was looking for a chance to skip out and get back to Jim, so's we could finally cut loose of those rascals. Well, we found the King in the back room of an old tavern, pretty tight, and a lot of loafers bully-ragging him for sport. Well, the Duke and King got sassing back and forth, so I lit out and spun down the river road like a deer. I got down there, all out of breath, but loaded up with joy and sung out, "Set her loose, Jim! We're all right now!" Jim? Jim! Jim! But it warn't no use. Old Jim was gone. Then I sat down and cried. I couldn't help it. Well, I started up along the road, trying to think of what to do, and I run across a girl walking along. "Say, you seen a strange slave around here?"
Sure did.
"Whereabouts?"
Down to Silas Phelps's place, 2 miles below here. He's a runaway slave, but they got him. Was you looking for him?
You bet I ain't. I saw him in the woods, and he scared me near to death.
Well, you needn't be afeard no more, 'cause they got him. He run off from down south somewheres. There's $200 reward on him.
Well, who captured him?
It was an old fella, a stranger, and he sold his chance in him for $40, 'cause he said he's got to go up the river and he can't wait for the full reward. Boy, you bet I'd wait if it was 7 years.
Well, I went back to the raft and sat down in the wigwam to think. Now I knowed the king had sold Jim using them fake handbills they'd printed up about Jim so's we could travel days. After all this long journey, and after all we'd done for them scoundrels, they could serve Jim such a trick as that, and make him a slave again for life, and among strangers, too, for $40 dirty. The more I studied about the trouble we was in, the more my conscience went to grinding me and reminding me how low down a boy I was. You shouldn't have been helping that runaway slave in the first place. Well, I was brung up wicked, so I wasn't so much to blame. There was the Sunday school. You could have gone to it. Well, yes, but now it's going to get around that Huck Finn helped a slave to get his freedom. Leastways, he tried to. But Jim has been the best friend I don't care. Now you go and write a letter to Miss Watson and tell her where her runaway slave is. Well, I done it for my conscience. But then I got to thinking over our trip downriver. And I see Jim for me all the time, in the day and in the nighttime. Sometimes moonlight, sometimes storms, and we are floating along, talking and singing and laughing. Somehow, I couldn't seem to strike no place to harden me against him, but only the other kind. And then I happened to look around and see that letter. Now, you go and mail that letter to Miss Watson and report that runaway slave. Remember about the bad place. All right, then. I'll go to the bad place. Oh. Well, for a starter, I decided to go to work and steal Jim out of slavery again. I couldn't see no sense in one man owning another. Well, I took the raft out and landed on an island, and hid it good. I slept there that night, and the next day I took the canoe and cleared for shore, dressed in my store clothes and the rest of my things in a bundle. I filled the canoe with water and loaded rocks into her and sunk her where I could find her again when I wanted. Then I started into town to find the Phelps place where Jim was. Well, the very first man I see when I got there was the Duke.
Well, where'd you come from? Where's the raft? Got her in a good place?
Why, that's just what I was going to ask you, Your Grace.
What's your idea asking me?
Why, yesterday, when I left you and the king a squabbling, I went a-loafing around town most of the day, and when I got back to the raft that afternoon, it was gone. I says to myself, they've got into trouble and had to leave, and they've took my raft and my slave, so I sat down and cried. Hey, what did become of the raft then? And Jim, poor Jim.
Blamed if I know. That is, what's become of the raft. We thought you'd stole it and run off down the river.
Would I run off without my slave? The only one I've got in the world? And the only property?
Well, No. Fact is, I reckon we'd come to consider him our slave. Well, we're getting ready to give the royal nunsuch another shake. Do you reckon that slave would rat on us?
How can he? Ain't he run off?
No. That old fool sold him and never divided with me. But the money's gone.
Sold him? Why, he was my slave, and that was my money. Where is he? I want my slave.
Well, stop your blubbering. He's gone and that's it. Say, you won't tell on us, will you? You won't if you know what's good for you.
I don't want to tell on nobody. Anyways, I gotta find my slave.
We got to be here 3 days. Now, if you'll promise you won't rat, and that your slave won't rat, I'll tell you where you find him.
I promise.
A farmer by the name of Silas... a farmer by the name of Abram Foster, Abram G. Foster, bought him. He lives 40 miles back there in the country.
All right. I can walk it in 3 days, and I'll start this very afternoon.
No, you won't.
Huh?
You'll start now. I don't want you blabbing around town while we're here. Just keep a tight tongue in your head and move right along. You hear?
Yes, Your Grace.
So clear out. But mind you, don't work your jaw any between here and there.
So I left and struck for the back country. I went along the road as much as a mile, 'cause I felt like the Duke was a-watching me. Then I doubled back through the woods toward Phelps's. That rascal Duke wanted me trudging 40 miles so's I'd be away while he and the king done the royal nunsuch. I didn't want no trouble with their kind, but I wanted to get entirely shut of 'em. Still, I reckoned I'd better start in on my plan to rescue Jim. King and Duke be derned. After I got away from the Duke and doubled back through the woods, I found the Phelps place where Jim was locked up. It was one of these little one-horse cotton plantations that all look alike, just full of hounds asleeping in the sun. Well, I went right along, not fixing up any particular plan, but just trusting to Providence to put the right words in my mouth when the time come. When I got halfway, first one hound and then another got up and went for me. In a quarter of a minute, I was a kind of hub of a wheel with the spokes made out of dogs, maybe 15 of them, circling round me, a-barking and howling.
Ty, you stop! Get away now, quiet down! Well, it's you at last, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
You know you don't look as much like your mother as I reckoned you would. But law sakes, I don't care for that. Come here, you children, it's your cousin Tom. Tell him howdy. Now let's go up to the house so's I can have a good look at you. We've been expecting you a couple days or more. What kept you? Boat get aground?
Yes'm, she...
Oh, don't say yes'm. Say Aunt Sally. I'm surprised you didn't meet your Uncle Silas on the road. He went up to town to fetch you not more than an hour ago.
No, I didn't see nobody, Aunt Sally.
Who'd you give your baggage to?
Nobody.
Why, child, it'll be stole. I can't figure out how Silas missed you.
I could see I was on kind of thin ice. I wanted to get the children to one side and pump 'em a little and find out who I was. The only thing I knew was I was Tom somebody. She just kept asking me questions about all sorts of people. I was just about to risk the truth and tell her who I really was when...
Ooh, here comes Silas. Get out of sight, Tom. We'll play a little joke on him. Children, now don't say a word. Oh, has he come?
Nope. I can't imagine where he is.
He must have come, and you've missed him along the road. I know it's so. Something tells me so.
Why, Sally, I couldn't have missed him along the road. I don't know what in the world to make of it. I'm afraid something's happened to the boat shore.
Why, Silas, look yonder, up the road. Ain't that somebody coming?
He sprung to the window, and Mrs. Phelps stooped down quick at the end of the bed and give me a pull, and out I come. She stood a-beaming and a-smiling like a house afire, and I stood pretty meek and sweaty alongside.
Hey! Why, who's that?
Who do you reckon 'tis?
Well, I ain't no idea. Who is it?
It's Tom Sawyer.
So they took me for Tom Sawyer. By jingle, I most slumped through the floor. But there weren't time to swap knives. The old man grabbed me and hugged me and welcomed me, and both of them fired off questions about the whole family. But if they was joyful, it warn't nothing to what I was. It was like being born again. I was so glad to find out who I was. Well, we jawed for a couple of hours, and I did a pretty good job of being Tom Sawyer, too. But then I got to thinking, what if Tom should come on the next boat and see me and sing out my name before I could throw him a wink to keep quiet? Wow, so I told the folks I reckoned I'd go up to the town and fetch down my baggage. I took the wagon. Before I was halfway, sure enough, here comes Tom Sawyer. So I waited till he come along. Hold on.
I ain't never done you no harm, Huck Finn. You know that. So what do you want to come back and haunt me for?
I ain't come back. I ain't been gone.
Now, don't joke with me, Huck. Honest, you ain't a ghost?
Do I look like a ghost? Ha, I've been eating regular.
Looky here. Weren't you ever murdered at all?
No, I just played it on 'em. I saw you on the boat a-looking for me off Jackson Island. Ha, I almost laughed out loud.
Well, I'll be ding-busted.
But, Tom, when I stumbled on this place, they thought I was you. It was the strangest coincidence ever. But now, if you come along, how we going to explain it?
Hey, I got a plan, Huck. You take my trunk and go back and let on it's yours. I'll be along in a few minutes.
Well, I'll trust you, Tom. But there's one more thing. A thing that nobody don't know but me. And that is, there's a slave here that I'm a-trying to steal out of slavery. Old Miss Watson's Jim.
What? Why, Jim is all
I know you'll say it's dirty, low-down business, but I'm a-gonna help him get away. And I want you to keep mum and not let on, will you?
I'll help you steal him.
I'm bound to say Tom Sawyer felt considerable in my estimation. I just couldn't believe it. Tom Sawyer, a slave stealer. I went back to the Phelps with Tom's trunk and waited to see what would happen. Pretty soon, Aunt Sally looks out the window.
Why, there's somebody come. I wonder who 'tis. Looks like a stranger. Put another plate on for dinner, Liza.
Looks like a boy. Let him in, Jimmy.
Is this where Archibald Nicholas lives?
No, my boy, but come in anyway.
No, I better rush along. I do wonder how I got the wrong place.
Come right in and make yourself at home. I've already told him to put another plate on for dinner.
Well, Tom, he run on and on, making up a yarn for his Aunt Sally and Uncle Silas. And they are swallowing it whole hog, and not recognizing him since they hadn't seen him since he was a baby. And a thinking I was Tom. He was always one for fooling people, and fooling them with style. Well, finally he reached over and kissed his Aunt Sally just like she was expecting it.
Why, you audacious puppy. What do you mean by kissing me?
Oh, well, I didn't mean nothing, ma'am. I thought you'd like it.
Well, you're a born fool, then. What made you think I'd like it?
Well, I don't know. Only they told me you would.
Whoever told you's another lunatic. Who's they?
Why, everybody. They all said so, ma'am. But I'm sorry, ma'am, and I won't do it no more, honest.
Well, I should reckon you won't.
I won't ever do it again, till you ask me.
Till I ask you. Why, I lay you'll be the Methuselah numbskull of creation before I ask you.
Didn't you think she'd like me to kiss her, Mr. Phelps?
No, I believe I didn't.
Well, Tom went on with his fooling, and then he turns to me and calls me Tom.
Tom, didn't you think Aunt Sally would open out her arms and say, Sid Sawyer?
Why, Sid, you You impudent young rascal, to fool a body so. Oh, we weren't looking for you, too, but only Tom here.
Well, now they thought I was Tom, and Tom was Sid, Tom's older brother. And Aunt Sally went for him and was going to hug him. But Tom, he pushed her off.
Oh, no. Don't expect me to kiss you again. Not until you ask me.
Oh, well, a minute ago I didn't think I would when you up and kissed me. But I'm asking you now. Give your aunt a big hug and a kiss, you rascal.
Why, we're mighty happy to have both of you boys. You sure did fool us. Just expecting one as we was.
Well, Tom and me, we carried it off first rate, pretending to be brothers. We had a big dinner that night. And there was things enough on that table for 7 families, and all hot, too. None of your flabby, tough meat that tastes like a hunk of old cold cannibal. Uncle Silas, he asked a pretty long blessing over it, but it was worth it, and it didn't cool the food a bit neither, the way I seen them kind of interruptions do lots of times. Well, after supper, one of the boys asked his pa if we could go uptown to the show, meaning the Royal Nonsuch.
Nope, I reckon there ain't gonna be any.
Well, how come, Uncle Silas?
Well, that runaway slave, he told me and my neighbor all about that scandalous show. My neighbor went off to tell the people, so I reckon they drove them loafers out of town by now.
Well, coming down the road was a raging rush of people with torches, making a tremendous racket. Then I see the king and duke a-straddle of a rail. That is, I knowed it was the king and the duke, though they was all over tar and feathers, and didn't look like nothing in the world that was human. Just looked like a couple of monstrous, sick ostriches. It made me sick to see it, and I was kind of sorry for them poor, pitiful rascals, even if they had been awful mean to poor Jim. But it seemed like I couldn't ever feel any hardness against them anymore. It was a dreadful thing to see them now. Human beings can be awful cruel to one another. Well, the next morning, we decided to start working on a plan to free Jim.
Looky here, Huck. I bet I know where they got Jim locked away.
Where?
In that hut over behind the barn. When we was at dinner, didn't you see one of the slaves go down there with some victuals?
Why, sure. But weren't they for one of the dogs?
Would they keep a padlock on the door for a dog, Huck? A lock means a prisoner. And Jim's the prisoner, or I'm a low-down, no-good detective. Now, let's each think of a plan to steal Jim, and we'll take the one we like the best.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, what's your plan?
Well, if Jim's in there, we can sneak the key out of your uncle's pocket when he goes to bed. Fetch the canoe that I hid down in the river, and when we get Jim out, we light out for the raft with him, hiding daytimes and running nights the way we used to. Wouldn't that plan work?
Work? Why, of course it'd work, like rats a-fighting. But it's too blame simple. There ain't nothing to it. Why, Huck, it wouldn't make no more talk than breaking into a soap factory.
Well, let's hear your plan, Tom.
Now, this is a real adventure. It's got to be mysterious and troublesome and good. Why, how often you gonna get to steal a slave? Now, here's what we're gonna do.
Huckleberry, Huckleberry, Huckleberry Finn met up with Tom Sawyer and they planned to free old Jim. But Tom was not contented just to steal away the key. There had to be adventure in their plot to set Jim free.
He told me his plan, and I see in a minute it was worth 15 of mine for style. And it'd make Jim just as free a man as mine would. And maybe get us all killed besides. But I knowed he'd be a-changing his plans around every which way as we went along, and heaving in new bullinesses whenever he got a chance. That was just Tom Sawyer's way. Finally, we sneaked down to nose around the hut.
We gotta figure out a way to get Jim out of there in style.
Here's the ticket. This hole's big enough for Jim to get through if we wrench off the board.
Why, it's as easy as playing hooky. I should hope we can find a way that's a little more complicated than that, Huck Finn.
We could saw him out, the way I done before I was murdered that time in the cabin.
That's more like it. We can find a way that's twice as long. There ain't no hurry. I know. We'll dig 'em out. Why, it'll take weeks.
Well, the next day we asked the slave that was a-feeding Jim if we could go with him and take the prisoner his food. He let us, and when Jim saw us, he could hardly keep it to himself.
Why, Huck,
Don't let Anya know us, Jim.
and good land, ain't that Mr. Tom?
Don't ever let on you know us, Jim. And if you hear any digging going on at nights, it's only us. We're gonna set you free.
Well, next day we set to work to free Jim. But Tom Sawyer weren't happy.
Blame it, Huck. This whole thing is just as easy and as awkward as it can be. And so it makes it rotten difficult to get up a difficult plan. There ain't no watchman to be drugged. Now, there ought to be a watchman.
But Jim's chained to the leg of the bed.
Yeah, but all you gotta do is to lift up the bedstead and slip off the chain. Why, drat it, Huck, it's the stupidest arrangement I ever see. We've got to invent all the difficulties. Now, how should we make a saw?
Well, what do you want to make a saw for?
What do we want a saw for? Ain't we got to saw the leg of Jim's bed off so's he can get the chain loose?
Why, you just said a body could lift up the bed and slip the chain off the leg.
Well, if that ain't just like you, Huck Finn.
Huh?
Who ever heard of getting a prisoner loose in such an old matey way as that? No, we gotta saw the bed leg in two, and then swallow the sawdust so it can't be found.
Yuck!
I wish there was a moat to this cabin. If we get time, the night of the escape, we'll dig one.
What do you want with a moat when we're going to snake 'em out from under the cabin?
'Cause there's more honor in getting 'em out through a lot of difficulties and dangers. Now, we gotta smuggle Jim a ladder.
A ladder?
We can tear up our sheets and make him a rope ladder easy. Then we can send it to him in a pie. It's mostly done that way.
I've had worse pies, but hang it, Tom Sawyer, Jim ain't got no use for a rope ladder.
He has got use for it.
Oh.
All prisoners do. He's gotta have a rope ladder.
Well, what in the tarnation can he do with it?
Do with it? He can hide it in his bed, can he? And suppose he don't use it? Well, ain't it there in his bed for a clue after he's gone?
Well, all right. But we better borrow a sheet off the clothesline instead of using our own.
Yeah. Borrow a shirt, too.
Well, what do you want with a shirt?
Want it for Jim to keep a journal on.
Journal your granny. Jim can't write.
Suppose he can't write. He can make marks on the shirt, can he? Sometimes prisoners write mysterious messages on the bottom of a tin plate with a fork and throw it out of the window.
Well, Jim ain't got no tin plates.
We can get him some.
But nobody'll be able to read the notes.
That ain't got anything to do with it. You don't have to be able to read it. Why, half the time you can't read anything a prisoner writes on a tin plate or anywhere else.
Well, then, what's the sense in wasting the plates?
Why, blame it all, Huck. It ain't the prisoner's plate.
But it's somebody's plates, ain't it?
What does the prisoner care whose plates they are?
Oh. Finally, we smooched a sheet and a shirt off the clothesline and laid out our plans to free Jim. Tom said we should fetch some tools to dig with, so I found some old crippled picks and shovels. But Tom thought they was modern conveniences, and not at all what a prisoner would have in his wardrobe. So he got a couple of old knives, but he said even that weren't quite regular. What he really wanted was to dig through a solid rock fortress for 37 years. Late that night, we crept out and started digging. We dug and dug and dug till most midnight and got dog-tired and our hands all blistered. And still you couldn't see we'd done anything hardly. This ain't no 37-year job, Tom. This is a 38-year job.
It ain't no use, Huck. It ain't a-gonna work. Prisoners wouldn't get but a few minutes to dig every day while they was changing watches, and they keep it up right along year in and year out.
But we can't fool along, so what are we gonna do, Tom?
I'll tell you. It ain't right, and it ain't moral, and I wouldn't like it to get out. But there's only just one way. We gotta dig 'em out with the picks and let on we're using old knives.
Now you're talking. Your head gets leveler and leveler all the time, Tom Sawyer. When I start in to steal a slave, I ain't no ways particular how it's done, so it gets done.
It might answer for you to dig Jim out with a pick without pretending, 'cause you don't know no better. But it wouldn't do for me, 'cause I do know better. Give me a knife and let's get started.
Well, I handed him my old knife, but he threw it down and said,
Give me a knife.
Well, I scratched around amongst the old tools and got a pickaxe and give it to him. And he took it and went to work and never said a word. He was allus just that particular, full of principle. Well, when we finished, we was just full of blisters and tired as groundhogs. Well, Tom tried to shinny up the lightning rod to our room, but he couldn't make it. His hands were so sore. At last he says,
It ain't no use. I can't do it. What do you reckon I better do? Can't you think of no way?
Yeah, but I reckon it ain't regular. Come up the stairs and let on it's a lightning rod. So, he done it. The next night, we pitched in with a pick and shovel, and in about 2 hours the job was done. We crept in under Jim's bed and into the cabin. He was so glad to see us he most cried. Tom explained his plans and everything, but Jim couldn't see no sense in the most of it, but said he'd do it anyway, just as Tom said. By and by, we borrowed a whole passel of things to smuggle into Jim, so's he could behave just like a prisoner in those books Tom Sawyer was a-reading. I got to feeling uncomfortable.
I've hunted high and I've hunted low, and it does beat all what has become of your other shirt, Silas.
It's most uncommon curious. I can't understand it. I know perfectly well I took it off because...
Because you ain't got but one on.
Yeah.
Just listen at the man. I know you took it off, and know it by a better way than your wool-gathering memory, too, because it was on the clothesline yesterday. I seen it there myself. But it's gone, and I'll have to make you a new one when I get time. It'll be the third I've made in 2 years. It just keeps a body on the jump to keep you in shirts. A body'd think you'd learn to take some sort of care of 'em at this time of your life.
I know it, Sally, and I do try all I can. But it oughtn't to be altogether my fault, 'cause, you know, I don't see 'em, or have nothing to do with 'em except when they're on me, and I don't believe I've ever lost one off my back.
Well, it ain't your fault if you haven't, Silas. You'd have done it if you could, I reckon. And the shirt ain't all that's gone, nother. There's a spoon gone, and that ain't all.
The goat might have ate the shirt.
Yet he didn't take the spoon, that's certain.
What else is gone?
There's 6 candles gone, that's what. The rats could have got the candles, and I reckon they did. I wonder why they don't walk off with the whole place the way you're always going to stop up their holes and don't do it. Why, if those rats weren't fools, they'd sleep in your hair, Silas. You'd never find out.
Well, I won't let tomorrow go by without stopping up them holes.
Huh.
Well, they was a-going on when just then one of the slaves comes in and says that a sheet's gone off the line. And of course, that's the one we borrowed.
A sheet gone. Well, for the land's sakes.
Oh, I'll stop up them rat holes today.
Oh, do keep quiet. You suppose the rats took the sheet?
Well, no.
I reckon the world is coming to an end. I never seed the beat of it in all my born days. A shirt and a sheet and a spoon and 6 candles.
Mama, there's a brass candlestick missing.
I'll clear out of here, you hussy, or I'll take a skillet to you.
Well, she was just a bilin', and I was glad I didn't have to report anything missing. I reckoned I'd sneak out and go for the woods till the weather moderated. At last, Uncle Silas, looking kind of foolish, fishes up that spoon out of his pocket where Tom had hid it. Aunt Sally stopped with her mouth open and her hands up. And as for me, I wished I was in Jerusalem or somewhere.
It's just as I expected. So you had it in your pocket all the time, and like as not, you've got the other things there, too.
I don't know how in the tarnation it got there, Sally. Honest, hey, they ain't nothing else in there.
Oh, for the land's sakes. Give a body a rest. Go along now, the whole lot of you, and don't come nigh me again till I got back my peace of mind.
I got up and obeyed her, and would have done it, too, if I'd have been dead. Tom and I went downstairs to talk over our plans.
Well, it ain't no use to smuggle things into Jim by Uncle Silas. He ain't reliable.
But he did save our skins when he stumbled onto that spoon. Aunt Sally thinks he put it there absent-minded-like.
He done us a good turn, all right, without knowing it. And so we'll go and do him one without him knowing it. Let's stop up them rat holes.
We done the job tight and good and shipshape. Then we heard steps on the stairs and blowed out our light and hid. Here comes Uncle Silas with a candle in one hand and a bundle of stuff to stop up the holes in t'other, looking as absent-minded as year for last.
Well, let's see now. I just bored up these holes and... Well, what's this? This hole's already shut up. Here's another one all boarded up. For the life of me, I can't remember when I done it. Body sure can forget things.
And so he went on mumbling upstairs. He was a mighty nice old man. Tom, he was determined to fetch a spoon and smuggle it to Jim so he could scratch out some mysterious message with it. Finally, he laid out a plan, and we went upstairs to where the spoons was kept and waited for Aunt Sally, who was cool a mite. I slid one of the spoons up my sleeve.
Why, Aunt Sally, there ain't but 9 spoons yet.
Go along to your play and don't bother me. I know better. I counted them myself.
Well, I've counted them twice, Annie, and I can't make but 9.
Here, let me see. I declare to gracious, there ain't but 9. Why, what in the world? Plague take the things. I'll count them again.
So I slipped back the one I had, and when she got done counting, she says,
Hang the troublesome rubbish. There's 10 now.
Annie, I don't think there's 10.
You numbskull, didn't you see me count them?
I know, but still...
Well, I'll count them again.
So I smooched one, and they come out 9, same as t'other time. Well, she wasn't a tearing way, just a trembling all over. She was so mad. But she counted and counted the pan for a spoon. And so 3 times they come out right, and 3 times they come out wrong. Finally, she grabbed the pan and slammed it across the room and nearly killed the cat.
Oh! Clear out and let me have some peace. And if you come bothering around again betwixt now and dinner, I'll skin you both.
We left all right, and Tom Loud, it was worth twice the trouble it took, 'cause he said now she couldn't ever count them spoons twice alike to save her life. And we put the sheet back on the line that night and borrowed another one out of the closet. Kept on putting it back, taking it again for a couple of days, till she didn't know how many sheets she had another. And she didn't care. I wouldn't count 'em again, not to save her life. She'd rather die first. Well, we went right along with Tom's plan to steal Jim. but it was mighty wearisome. We had to do everything by the book. We sneaked in to see Jim most every night.
You got any spiders in here, Jim?
No, thanks to goodness I ain't, Tom.
All right. We'll get you some.
But bless you, I don't want none. I'd just as soon have rattlesnakes around.
Hey. Why, that's a good idea. Where could you keep it?
Keep what, Tom?
Why, a rattlesnake.
No, I'm not staying here with no rattlesnake.
Oh, a prisoner's gotta have some kind of dumb pet.
Pet rattlesnake?
Sure. There's more glory to be gained in your being the first to ever try it with a rattlesnake.
I don't want no such glory. No, sir. I don't want no such doings.
Well, we'll get you some rats then.
Why, I don't want no rats, nother.
But, Jim, you gotta have them. They all do. Prisoners ain't ever without rats. They train them and learn them tricks, and the rats get to be as sociable as flies.
Blessed if I can see the point. I never know before it was so much bother and trouble to be a prisoner.
In the morning, we took a wire rat trap and fetched it down and unstopped the best rat holes. And in about an hour, we had 15 of the bulliest rats you ever saw. Then we took the trap and put it in a safe place, under Aunt Sally's bed. But while we was looking for spiders, little Thomas Franklin Benjamin Jefferson Alexander Phelps found it and opened the door to see if the rats had come out. And they did. And Aunt Sally, she come in. And when we got back, she was a-standing on top of the bed raising Cain. And the rats was doing what they could to keep off the dull times for her. Well, she took and dusted us both with a hickory switch. And we was as much as 2 hours catching another 15 or 16 rats. And they weren't the likeliest nother, 'cause the first haul was the pick of the flock. Next we went for the snakes, and grabbed a couple dozen water snakes, put 'em in a bag, and put it in our room. By then it was supper time, and a rattling good honest day's work we'd done. And we was hungry. But when we got back upstairs, there warn't a blessed snake up there. We didn't tie the sack half tight enough. And they worked out somehow and left. But it didn't matter much, 'cause they was still on the premises, somewheres. So we judged we could get some of 'em again. No, there warn't no real scarcity of snakes about the house for a considerable spell. You'd see 'em dripping from the rafters and places every now and then. There warn't no harm in 1,000,000 of 'em, but that never made no difference to Aunt Sally. And every time another one had slithered around the place, it didn't make no difference what she was doing. She'd just lay that work down and light out. I never seen such a woman. And you could hear her whooping the Jericho.
Huck and Tom worked night and day with their adventuring, catching rats and water snakes, all for poor old Jim. But when the rats got loose, Aunt Sally sure put on a show. And when the snakes got out, she nearly whooped to Jericho.
Well, by the end of 3 weeks, everything was in pretty good shape. But Jim's hut looked like Noah's Ark. There was so many creatures a-running around in it, and more'n 2 of each, too. Tom was having a good time, though he was pretty well tuckered out. And Jim and me was anxious to get on with the escape.
Don't get impatient, Huck. We're almost ready. The only thing left is the anonymous letters.
Huh? What's that?
Warnings. Warnings to the people that something is up. You send them anonymous letters, usually.
But looky here, Tom. What do we want to warn anybody for? Let 'em find out something's up when we're gone.
After all this hard work and trouble, do we want this escape to go off perfectly flat?
Well, no.
Then we gotta do the whole thing right. Now, the anonymous letter is usually delivered by a servant girl.
Oh, we ain't got no servant girl.
We got you, Huck.
Oh.
Now you hook a frock that belongs to one of the girls and deliver the anonymous letter under the door tonight.
Well, Tom wrote the letter, and that night I dressed in a frock and shoved it under the front door, the way Tom told me to. The letter said, "Beware, trouble is brewing. Keep a sharp lookout. Unknown friend." Next night, we stuck a picture, which Tom drawed in blood, of a skull and crossbones on the front door. And the next night, another one, with a coffin on it, at the back door. I never see a family in such a sweat. We laid we'd free Jim that night, but long towards dark, after supper, a crowd of farmers began to gather at the place, and every one of 'em had a gun. Oh, and I figured we'd overdone this thing. Well, me and Tom went up to bed. Leastways, that's what we told them. What a thundering hornet's nest we got ourselves into.
Ain't it,
Wow.
bully? Oh, why, Huck, if it was to do over again, I bet I could fetch 200 men.
Why, these'll shoot us as well as 200. We sneaked out the window and crept down to the hut. We was just slipping out through the hole at the back of the hut with Jim when we heard the tramp of men a-comin'.
Some of you keep an eye out. They might be trying to steal away this runaway slave.
We'll lay for 'em in the cabin. The rest of you scatter around a piece and sing out if you hear anybody coming.
We crept along, not making the least noise, and slipped up to the fence. Me and Jim got over it, but Tom's britches catched on a nail, so when he pulled it loose, the tear made a noise.
What's that? Who's there? Answer or I'll shoot!
But we didn't answer. We just unfurled our heels and shoved. Then there was a lot of noise, and the bullets fairly whizzed around us.
Here they are! They broke the river! After 'em, boys, and turn loose the dog!
We got to where the canoe was hid and struck out for the middle of the river, and then made for the island where the raft was hid. Now, old Jim, you're a free man again, and I bet you won't ever be a slave no more.
And a mighty good job it was, too, Huck. It was planned beautiful, and it was done beautiful, and there's nobody can get up a plan that's more mixed up and splendid than what that one was.
It weren't nothing, Jim.
We was all glad as we could be, but Tom was the gladdest of all, 'cause he had a bullet in the calf of his leg. When me and Jim saw that, we didn't feel as brash as what we did before. It was hurting Tom considerable and bleeding, so we laid him in the wigwam and tore up one of the Duke's shirts to bandage him.
Give me the rags. I can do it myself. Don't stop now. Don't fool around here. Set her loose.
But me and Jim was consulting and thinking. And after we'd thought a minute, Jim says,
Well, this is the way it looked to me, Huck. If it was him that is being set free, and one of the boys was to get shot, would he say, go on and save me and forget about the one who shot? Would he say that? You bet he wouldn't. Well, then, is Jim going to say it? No. I don't budge a step out of this place without a doctor. Not if it's 40 years.
I reckon Jim would say what he did say, so I told Tom I was a-going for a doctor. He raised a racket about it, but we wouldn't let Tom have his way this time. Then I took off. I got ashore, went uptown. The doctor was an old man, very nice and kind-looking. I told him me and my brother was out hunting, and he got shot by accident.
How'd he get shot, this brother of yours?
He had a dream, and it shot him.
Why, that's an amazing dream.
I mean, he kicked his gun in his dream, and it went off and shot him in the leg.
Is he hurt bad?
Well, it'll do for a wound. Well, I took the doctor down to the canoe, but he said he reckoned he'd look for a bigger one. But they was all chained and locked. So he asked me how to find my brother and told me to go home. Well, I told him. I let the doctor go alone and went back to the house, wondering what I'd tell him. When I turned the corner, wow, I nearly ran my head into Uncle Silas' stomach.
Hey, where you been all this time, you rascal?
I ain't been nowheres, only just hunting that runaway slave.
Why, wherever'd you go? Your aunt's been mighty uneasy.
We followed the man and dogs last night, but they outrun us, and we lost them. We trudged half the night and got pretty beat, so we slept in the woods.
Well, get along in there and let your Aunt Sally see you're all right. Where's your brother?
He's at the post office.
Well, he better be getting home, or he'll get a hiding from your aunt.
When I saw Aunt Sally, I told her what I told Uncle Silas, how he went down the lightning rod and both of us got hurt a little, and we didn't never want to try that no more.
Well, I forgive you. I suppose it's about what a body might expect of boys. All boys is a pretty harum-scarum lot as far as I can see. But what has become of that brother of yours?
I'll run right uptown and fetch him.
No, you won't. You'll stay right where you are. One's enough to be lost at a time.
When Tom didn't come back for supper, Uncle Silas went looking for him. He come back about 10 o'clock, a little bit uneasy, 'cause he hadn't run across Tom's tracks.
Why, laws a mercy, it's enough to fright a body sick. What has become of that boy?
Oh, boys'll be boys, Sally. You'll see this one'll turn up in the morning all sound and right.
Well, I'll sit up for him a while, and I'll keep a light burning so he can see it.
I went up to bed, hoping I could get out and see how Tom was a-doing. I calculated he was in good hands with Jim and that doctor. Still, I was a trifle nervous to see for myself. Well, pretty soon Aunt Sally come up and talked with me and tucked me in.
That Sid is such a good boy. He could have got lost or hurt or drowned.
Oh, he'll be all right, and he'll be home by morning.
I sure hope you're right. Now, the door ain't locked, and I'm going, and there's the window and the rod. But you'll be good, won't you? And you won't go for my sake.
Laws knows I wanted to go bad enough to see about Tom. I was all intending to go, but after that, I wouldn't have went not for kingdoms. But a couple of times in the night, I slipped down the rod and went around front, and see her setting there by her candle in the window with her eyes towards the road and the tears in 'em. Toward dawn, I slid down, and she was there yet, and her candle was most out, and her old gray head was resting on her hand, and she was asleep. Next morning, there was still no sign of Tom, and everybody was a-looking mournful and sad, not eating a thing at breakfast. By and by, Uncle Silas says,
Did I give you the letter?
What letter?
Well, the one I got yesterday at the post office when I was hunting that boy.
No, you didn't give me no letter.
Well, I must have forgotten. Let's see, where'd I put it? Oh, here it is.
Why, it's from St. Petersburg, from Sid and Tom's ma.
well, I did get in a sweat, thinking our little act was all up. But before she could break it open, she dropped it and run, for she seen something. Well, it was Tom Sawyer on a mattress, and that old doctor and Jim and a whole lot of people.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, I know he's dead.
Oh, no, he ain't dead, but he's hurt pretty bad.
He's alive. Oh, thank heavens.
Well, they all followed Tom into the house, and I went with the men who locked Jim up again, in the hut. They cussed Jim considerable, though, and give him a cuff or two for running away and causing all the trouble. But the doctor comes out by and by and tells him how Jim saved Tom's life.
I couldn't help that boy alone, gentlemen, and this here slave crawls from somewheres and pitches in and helps, and I never see a person that was a better nurse or faithfuler, and yet he was risking his freedom to do it, and was all tired out, too.
Well, for the next day or two, I kept out of sight. I didn't want to do any explaining about how it all happened. One morning I heard Tom was a good deal better, and Aunt Sally was taking a nap. So I slips into the sick room to talk with Tom. But he was asleep. I was a-sitting there waiting for him to wake up, when in walks Aunt Sally.
Shh! Now don't you disturb this boy.
What? What? Why, I'm at home. Where's the raft?
It's all right, Tom.
And Jim?
He's all right, too.
Good. Splendid. Now we're all right and safe. Did you tell Auntie?
About what, Sid? What are you talking about?
Why, about the way the whole thing was done.
What whole thing?
Why, the whole thing. There ain't but one. How we set the runaway slave free, me and Tom?
Good land. Set the runaway... What is this child talking about? Oh, dear. Dear, he must be out of his head again.
No, I ain't out of my head. I know all what I'm talking about. We did set him free, me and Tom. We laid out to do it, and we done it. And we done it elegant, too.
Well, he'd got a start, and she never stopped him up. Just set and stared and stared. And 'twarn't no use for me to put in.
Why, Annie, it cost us a power of work, weeks of it. Most every night whilst you was all asleep. And we had to steal candles and the sheet and the shirt and the spoons and, oh, you can't think half the fun it was.
Mercy sakes.
And we had to load up the cabin with rats and snakes and such for company for Jim.
Oh.
And had to dig that big hole to smuggle things in and out.
Why, I declare.
And we sent anonymous letters warning you about the escape. But stole Jim away anyway and made him a free man. And we done it all by ourselves. And oh, Auntie, wasn't it bully?
Well, I never heard the likes of it in all my born days. So it was you little rapscallions, that's been making all this trouble and scared us both to death.
But Tom, he was so proud and joyful, he just couldn't hold in. And Aunt Sally, she just chipping in and spitting fire all along, and both of them going at it at once like a cat convention.
Well, you get all the enjoyment you can out of it now, 'cause when you're well, you little scamp, I'll tan the old Harry out of both of you. And if I catch you meddling with him again...
Meddling with who?
With who? With who? Why, that runaway slave, of course. Who'd you reckon?
Say, didn't you just tell me he was all right? Hasn't he got away?
Him? Him, that runaway slave? Deed, he hasn't. He's back in the cabin loaded down with chains.
But they ain't got no right to shut him up. Don't lose a minute. Turn him loose. He ain't no slave. He's as free as anybody.
What does this child mean?
I mean every word I say, Aunt Sally. And if somebody don't go, I'll go. I've known him all his life. We both have. And old Miss Watson died 2 months ago. And she was ashamed she ever was going to sell him down the river and said so. And she set him free in her will.
Then what on earth did you want to set him free for, seeing he was already free?
Oh, well, that is a question, I must say, and just like women. What? I wanted the adventure of it.
Just then, standing right there inside the door, looking as sweet and contented as an angel half full of pie, was Tom's Aunt Polly, come down from St. Petersburg. While the two sisters was a-hugging, I went under the bed, knowing our scheme was over for good.
Why, what are you doing in that bed, Tom? Oh, dear me, Polly, is he changed so? Why, that ain't Tom. It's Sid. Tom's right over... Well, where is he? He was here a minute ago. You mean, where's Huck Finn, that's what you mean? I reckon I know that scamp Tom Sawyer. And I think I know Huck Finn, too. Come out from under that bed, Huck.
Aunt Sally and Uncle Silas was the most mixed-uppest looking persons I ever see. But Tom's Aunt Polly set her straight and told 'em all about me and about how she knew something crazy was a-going on, when she got a letter about Sid and Tom both being down here, knowing that Tom had come alone. And it was true that Miss Watson had set Jim free in her will, and so we had Jim out of chains in no time. And when everybody found out how good he helped the doctor nurse Tom, oh, they made a heap of fuss over him. Well, Tom's most well now, and he's got his bullet around his neck on a watch guard. So there ain't nothing more to tell about. And I'm rotten glad of it, because if I'd have known what a trouble it was to tell a long story like this, I wouldn't have tackled it. But I reckon I might light out for the territory out west, 'cause Aunt Sally says she's gonna adopt me and civilize me. Oh, and I can't stand that. I've been there before.